ولو أن ما في الأرض من شجرة أقلام والبحر يمده من بعده 7 أبحر ما نفدت كلمات الله إن الله عزيز حكيم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. آمين يا رب العالمين. So today, inshallah, we will talk about, does rationality contradict religion or faith, right? So the reason being we're talking about this is because we live in a world where they're separating rationality from faith, rationality from religion, right? Any person who's assumed to be rational is automatically a non-religion associated person. He's not religious. They say spiritual but not religious, which, subhanAllah, doesn't really make much sense. But the reason we're talking about this is because this is a message to really, like, a lot of people who are going to college right now, and they're facing this hardship where they're studying whatever they're studying. If they're studying engineering, they have to study physics, and then that's science, and then whoever's studying bio, right, your doctors, or philosophy, psychology, any of these sciences, right, or anything else, maybe philosophy, right, maybe English, all these stuff, they're based on rationality. And when you, as a person who consumes this stuff, who is on social media, maybe watching TV, right, the image that's kind of drawn in the back of our mind is rationality and religion are two separate things. You cannot rationally believe in a religion, right? So I want to make sure that, like, make it very clear that that is not true, right? It's actually very, very rational to believe in religion. I study physics myself. I've studied physics, right? And it makes sense. It doesn't make sense not to. Actually, it makes sense for both, and I'll explain why. So I'll give you two small examples. So let's say you sleep, right? You're sleeping, whatever, you wake up. And when you wake up, you open the window, you go look outside the window, and you see 2 feet or 3 feet of snow. Right? You didn't see it start snowing, but you see the snow now, correct? Are you gonna assume it didn't snow all night? If you were out, maybe before you fell asleep, you were out till 10 p.m. and then you walked in and you slept, and then you woke up to snow, are you gonna assume that it didn't snow all night, or snow and during the night, right? Or are you gonna assume that it just magically appeared from the earth, or magically appeared somehow? Of course not. Any rational person will say, obviously it snowed, right? And this is the point I want to make. There is signs, evidence, right? The evidence of snowing is the snow itself. It's there. It's here. You can literally come out and look at it and you see it. It's there. So that's the point I really want to keep going back to. It's signs or proof. There's evidence that lead to that. So the way the Arabs actually explained this phenomenon, right? And they explained this in very, very simple terms. And this is the way the Arabs spoke in general. The Arabs said, just like a camel leaves traces on the sand in the desert, everything around us is a trace of Allah or God creating this universe. Because it doesn't make sense for it to be here, just like it doesn't make sense for the snow to be there if it didn't snow. This universe doesn't make sense. It can't be here unless somebody told it to go. Just like it snowed, somebody had to, just like now they have the Big Bang Theory, right, where everything started from there. So now let's say this. So now we believe, okay, it makes sense that something had to start up this universe. So this is where the split happens, where some scientists actually say science just hasn't got there yet, where they say we haven't got there yet, right? And the new study now is dark matter. That's unrelated, but what they say is that science hasn't found an answer yet, and give us time and we'll find it. Religion, on the other hand, says no, God created this, right? Allah created this, or God created this, right? Everything around us. And now it's an argument, right? Did Allah create it? Or did something we don't even know about start it? So the problem with choosing the science part is every single time we come to a conclusion, we realize that this conclusion gave us 100 more questions. So they figured out the Big Bang Theory, right? And how the universe is still expanding. What started the Big Bang? And you're like, whoa, what the, like, who knows, right? Even what started the Big Bang, let's go back. Let's say we know what started it, right? Or what made it start. Where did the material that it needed to start come from, right? It keeps going backwards. Like, it's like, and the thing is, nowadays, like, this is 2020. We only know 4%, less than 4% of our universe. Less than 4%. And this is because they haven't even explored too much. Watch when they explore more, they're going to realize we know even less. So this is the point I want to make. We don't know enough, even as science people. We don't know enough. And what they're saying is, we don't know enough. So once we know more, we'll figure it out. But the more we find, the more we realize we don't know. The more you know, the more you realize you don't actually know. So the religious people say, no, there's signs that God sent messengers, right? And this is the point. We're going to get to this in another video, where there are signs, like you see the Dead Sea. That's a sign of the people of Lut. You see, there's so many different signs. There's the Kaaba. It's a sign of Ibrahim. Like, these things are signs that Allah actually sent messengers, right? And the ultimate sign is the Quran, and inshallah we will get to that. But this is the point I want to make. It is very, 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 very rational to be a believer in a religion, because you believe in something that created all of this. You can be a science person. Like, you can literally study science all day, all night, and believe that he's the one who set this stuff up. Like, one question is, who set physics up? Like, who set gravity to be 9.81, right? Or 10, right? For people who are studying, studying physics. Who set these values up? Who made the sun come up in the morning and the night fold, literally the day folds over the night? Who makes these stuff happen? Like, I'll give you one more example and then we'll end with that. One of the scholars walked by an old lady, and he was with his whole crowd, right? And he's one of the scholars that wrote 1,000 proofs for the existence of God, right? So he's walking by, and everybody's impressed. This old lady said she's not impressed. So the guy asked her, like, oh, this is so and so, like, he wrote 1,000 proofs for the existence of God. She said if he didn't have 1,000 doubts, he wouldn't need 1,000 proofs. And this old lady, another old lady, said she was spinning, I forgot what they called it, but she was doing a type of work where she would have to spin something, right? And she said, somebody asked her, do you believe in God? And she said, of course I believe in God. And he said, why? And she said, I have to spin whatever it is, right? I have to spin this thing to make whatever I'm making. Who spins this world around? Who makes it rain? Who makes it snow, right? Who makes these stuff happen? The people of science say science. We say the person who set up the being that set up science. Just like a building has to be set up and certain things have to be planned, Allah is the one who planned all of this. He set these numbers up, right? And subhanallah, أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.